All right. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. I've been waiting to chat with this guy for a while, and unfortunately, we haven't got a training session in together, and now he's moved away, and I'm moving away. So, who knows when that's going to happen? Everybody, welcome Mr. Louis Guarino to the show. What's up, man?
Greetings, and salutations to all of you out there listening and watching.
Thanks for being here, dude. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm pumped. The moment I got the email in my inbox, I was like, yeah, like yes, I'm gonna do this.
Not gonna lie, it
Absolutely.
was like the fastest response I've ever gotten. I was pretty hyped.
Really,
Yeah,
dude, I was
you're.
pumped.
I don't know if you were like on your email at the time and it just popped in, or you're just like that hype. But I
No,
appreciate.
I like literally. I opened my phone and then I was like checking emails. I saw that and I was like, yes.
Nice, love
Oh,
it.
that's all I'm gonna write.
We've
Yes.
we've been like vibing together online kind of since January. Like we kind of clearly
Yeah.
have the same taste and stuff. Obviously, we're both fitness coaches, so it's nice to kind of finally chat. Although I'd love
Yeah.
to like go out and have a few drinks with you. Obviously, we can't do that yet, but next time you're in Barrie or next time I'm in Montreal, whatever comes first,
Dude,
we'll definitely have to do that.
I'm all for any of that. Like, especially after this last year.
Yes,
I don't give a
seriously.
shit where. I don't care where. Like, let's just fucking
We'll
do it.
find a middle ground somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So let's start with let's go back as far as you want to go back. Let's say what brought you into the fitness industry? How'd you get started? That sort of thing.
Man, this is not going to be a long drawn out story, but it really started I definitely started in high school, football, soccer. My dad bodybuilded when he was younger. So it started there. I wasn't really as crazy about it, obviously, at that time. But then, like I grew up in New York, and like obviously just going down to the Jersey Shore, and like you're going everywhere else, and going out to Manhattan, and just going to the clubs, and you see all these Guidos. This is 2000. This is mid 2000s, right? This is like 2005, 2005. I was 18. Yeah, so we're talking, 2005, 2006, 2007. Jersey Shore. The actual
Yes,
TV show was on.
yeah.
Was on. Growing Up, Gotti was on. You go down to like, so you go to these beach clubs and you just see all these yoked dudes, all these Guidos and the blowouts and tans and muscles everywhere. And I'm like, and you see the girls that they're with, and I'm like, here I am, I'm still relatively skinny, and I'm like, I want to be like that, And then I had a girlfriend who broke out with me at that ripe age of 18, and not it was like my whole world crashed, right? It's like overly freaking dramatic, and I was like, my best payback, so to speak, was like, all right, I'm just gonna get the get the girls that look like the rest of them, down at the beach and stuff like that, right? So I started working out. I started taking it more serious. Probably, yeah, January 2006. Not even necessarily because of a resolution. It's just kind of, I guess, how my schedule kind of worked out. January 2006 is when I really started hitting the gym, like consistently. Like I had my first protein shake. I vomited it up because I didn't like it. Like it was like, I remember, I'll never forget that. Yeah, like my first protein shake, I threw up. I was like, oh, this
Like
is
whey protein shake, or is it like
yeah,
pig milk
it
protein
was an
shake?
old muscle. It was Muscle Tech.
Oh
I'll never forget
god.
it. It was a Muscle Tech protein powder. I mean, I'm sure they got better over the years. I mean, but obviously protein powders were not nearly the industry then it is now, so our options weren't as heavy. But yeah, man, I just started lifting, and then what got me into training was 2000. I always knew I wanted to kind of do a little bit of training, like personal training, because I just love being in the gym. And I was like, oh, I'll get paid to work people out. Like, absolutely, but I'm a bit naive at that point still as to like what actually personal training entails and like, what do I actually have to do? Um, but I would say not January, the spring semester 2012, it was my first semester of nursing school. And because I was on a wait list for like 2 years. And I finally get into nursing program, started doing clinicals and stuff like that. And I was just like miserable. And I was just like, to hell with this. Like I hated missing the gym. I hated not being able to lift as much as I wanted. So I just dropped out. And then I was like, well, I'll get my personal training cert. And so um, I did. And fast forward to 2021, here I am.
That's awesome, man. So I didn't know that you wanted to be in nursing at first, and clearly, I mean, you clearly have a passion for wanting to help people. It comes through in all of the content you share, whether it's Instagram or YouTube. So 2002 certified, 2013. From then onwards, did you work at big box gym? Did you start off on your own?
No, yeah, no. So after I got certified, I went to New York Sports Club, which is like, the Northeast version of like a Good Life kind of fitness.
Okay.
So that's where I got my start. I worked there for about 2 years, 2.5 years, became like one of the top, one of our, like one of the top trainers at that location that I was at. And, I was doing really well. I just knew that, being in the gym, being, around other people, just in general, like made me happy, in a sense of like, I mean, obviously with nursing, you're around people, obviously, but I guess what I mean is just like, I don't want to say like, oh, being around like-minded people and whatnot, but like, it was just one of those environments where I was like, you just like, the gym is like the happy place for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like, it's the place where people want to feel better. They work out to feel better. They're much happier to be in the gym than they are not to be in the gym generally. So to be around that environment was always good. I just loved it. Right. And, so once I started like personal training and like learning the business aspect of it, that's when I was like, all right, cool. Like, this isn't so bad, and then like, as time grew, as time went on and I got better as a coach, like it just like, it was a really good situation for me. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah. You clearly have a passion for things. Helping people is one, and fitness, I guess, go hand in hand, especially if you find the gym a happy place. And 2020 wasn't a happy place for a lot of people, clearly, with the gyms shutting down. When did you take things online?
So I took my first stab at online coaching in 2014 with an online training company. It was not, well, at the same time, like I was just learning these type of things. Like I was just learning really about nutrition. Then I was just learning how to legit program, in a way that made sense and individualized for people. Like it took me a bit to actually get in there, but I was always reading, always learning in that regards. And then, I would say 2014 was that year where I connected with some people. They were running a successful online training business, which, I mean, even to this day in 2021, sometimes you hear people like, what the hell's online training?
Seriously.
Yeah. And it's like, do you watch people over Skype? I'm like, no, like I do everything but that. Like I write your programs, we're checking in, we're doing emails, like we're communicating a lot. Yeah. So that's when I did it. And then, basically I've been doing it ever since then. Just 2014 was like when I really got in there. Then I, took a step back for a bit, did some like semi-private and private coaching, in person. And then I went back full online. I would say I was full-time online, probably like maybe end of 2015.
It's pretty solid. Yeah, that's good. I mean, this is 6 years then solely online for you, man. That's pretty good considering, like, again, online training is still, it's weird to say, but it's still relatively new.
Yeah.
A lot of people still don't understand what it is. It's not like a Zoom session where you're working out and I'm watching you, or vice versa. It's literally like we're doing all the background work for you to be able to just follow the program, and then we communicate as need be. Yeah, that's wild. It was 2016 when I decided to go, like, I did OTA level 1.
Okay.
Because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life before that. I was like, yeah, personal training. Like I got into hockey and the fitness and personal training. And I'm like, I don't want to work for a gym forever. Like I knew that going in. And I think that's what draws a lot of us to online coaching.
Yeah.
So 2016 was when I took OTA 1, and then 2016 October was online business started. And like now it's officially online only. Like I was doing personal training all up until this past year. So when you were getting certified, when you went online, was this you still living in New York? Because I know you lived in Toronto for a while.
Yeah. So I was, I mean, I've only been I've been in Canada for 5 years and for other reasons, but I love Canada. So that's why I'm obviously staying. But yeah, when I got my training cert when I was I was living in New York, and then I moved to Jersey. I was living in Hoboken for a little bit, in Jersey City, Weehawken, mainly in Weehawken, which is like, yeah, it's like for you it would be the equivalent. When I say I live in Weehawken, it's like I lived in New York City outskirt, like the outskirt of New York City, so to speak. Or like it'd be like living in, like obviously Scarborough's Toronto, but you live in Scarborough.
Yeah,
right? Like it's still really. It's Scarborough. It's Scarborough. It's out there. It's close, but not close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's basically like that. Like one thing I missed about my apartment back in Weehawken though is that my bedroom window faced, because it was faced Midtown, which was the Empire State Building, but then I also had another window that you can see the financial district.
Nice.
And like you just saw the entire New York skyline. It was really sick. It was awesome. Legit. Yeah, dude, it was sick. So but yeah, I got my training there, and then I was working at gyms down in, I worked at a Goldman Sachs. I did personal training at the Goldman Sachs office downtown, which is really cool. There's some really cool people there. Then I worked, like I said, a gym in Jersey I was at. There's a gym on the Upper East Side called Structure. I don't know if you know Kevin Deneen.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. Yeah, I don't know
Kevin
personally.
Deneen, he owns that. So I worked over there for a bit with him, a couple of his other coaches. So yeah, man, I've been, just kind of doing this thing, and then I found my niche with aesthetics, just because I love to look good and I want everybody else to look good. So.
Yeah, man. Let's speak to that. So if I am correct in this, you competed at one point?
Yeah.
Physique?
Competed several times. My first natural bodybuilding competition was in 2011. I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011. Yes, because I was still working at the hospital. I wasn't a personal trainer yet, so it's 2011. And then I did 2 natural bodybuilding shows. 2. Yeah, red shorts, green trunks, red trunks. Yes, twice. And then I did men's physique. Did men's physique for a couple of years. I did 5 shows. I placed 3 out of those 4 shows, which was great. Yeah, and then I didn't compete in 2000. I didn't compete 2015. I don't think 2014 and 2015. I don't think I competed. Competed 2016 because I competed 2016 because it was just before I moved to Canada. I remember that. It was one of the last things I did before I moved to Canada. Competed in 2016, and then I competed again in 2017 in classic physique, which was my favorite. I was still small in comparison to the dudes I was competing against, but it was my favorite one that I
That's
did.
awesome. Yeah. Where did you compete when you were here?
Toronto.
Pro show?
No, not Toronto Pro. It was oh man, I forgot the name of it, but it was at the Delta Hotel. That's like right off the 401.
401, yeah.
Okay, they had a show there. That was like a really good experience. My coach, I don't know if you know Boyan.
No.
All right, so he's I don't want to say claim to fame because I don't want to like gas it up, so to speak. But like for him, like one of the bigger things of how he became known, I guess, in the fitness industry was he did one of the first thesis on intermittent fasting.
Oh.
Then became like Martin Berkham had been doing it for a while, but then I think his like dissertation for school, like medical school, whatever, was intermittent fasting, or he just did it just to do it. I forget the story, but he got interviewed on Schwarzenegger.com and stuff like that. So he became a friend and taught me a lot. Like the way that he programmed for me, even for my show, is like the foundation of how I program for some of my clients. Like it's quite like he taught me a lot. So yeah. So now I just that was the last time I competed. I wanted to compete again, but I don't know. I need the gyms to open up again. I need to I've lost size because of COVID and everything. Yeah, I've maintained the shape, which has been great, but I definitely have lost size. So I would probably want to go through like a good year long build and then we can talk about like cutting down again and then going from there. So
Yeah.
if I look at it, I'm like, if I look at a timeline between probably when the gyms are going to open here, let's say gyms don't open here until summertime. So
Likely,
right?
Yeah.
So I would say I probably wouldn't be competing until the end of 2022, maybe beginning of 2023, right?
Yeah.
I do want to get bigger though. So I'm just
that's wild. Yeah. What I found with a lot of trainers, one of their entries into the industry was like themselves competing.
yeah.
And then they just like fell in love with the process, or they learned so much that they wanted to pass it on to others. But I found that those who become trainers don't compete anymore. They're like, they did that side and they can't balance, either they can't or they don't want to balance like being a competitor themselves and helping others. Did you find that shifting yourself? Like you competed so many times that you just want to shift gears?
For me, quite honestly, I actually just, you have to like I won't like personally, like I won't coach competitors now.
Mm-hmm.
Generally I stay away from that. Like you really have to be someone special. Like I feel like, holy fuck, we're gonna get along great, because I myself was a competitor. I know what it's like to get into my head. I know what it's like for clients, for competitors to get in their head. Oh my God, am I not eating enough? Oh my God, I'm so hungry. It's like, obviously you chose to do this. Like, stop complaining. Like I have zero patience for that type of thing. It's like, you chose this route. Like, let's not complain about it. You know what I mean? It's, and so I like the competitor persona, perspective, mindset. I just don't like too much. I'm not saying I don't like competitors. I just don't like what people become as they get to that, including myself, which is why I don't do it often. Because I mean, like, when I'm competing, like to get stupid lean, you're going to be hungry. You're going to be hangry. You're going to have brain fog. You're going to like snap at people. I've done that. People like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. So I have to I really have to want to do it. I really have to like want to compete to endure that. Like the competing is fun. Going on stage, posing, like you're doing your routine. If you're in bodybuilding or men's physique, like it's great. Like it's phenomenal. Like don't get it twisted. I love it. That part of it. But the road to get there, it's like, I don't feel like traveling that road right now.
I was gonna say, it takes you're right. It takes a special person to do that. I've never personally worked with someone who wanted to compete because I've never competed. So I don't think I would be even able to do that. I work with everyday people. I work with parents mostly. Like I'm not about to send people into those extremes just because I think it takes like a very special mindset to be like, okay, I'm ready to be hungry for the next 6 months and possibly miserable. So that's why like I've never had interest in competing myself. I respect those who do, but it does, like you're right, it takes a very special individual to like put your blinders on, almost like focus on nothing else, if you would agree, and then just balls the wall to your day.
Yeah, like for me, I'll tell you, well, like one thing that I explain to people, and I don't know who's going to be listening to this, but like if somebody, I'm not discouraging competing. I'm if anything, I want to be very frank and forward with what to expect and like what it's really like. Like, and again, if life is all about choices, like if you're making a choice to compete, don't bitch and complain throughout the process. Like seriously. That's just ridiculous. But I will also say that there's no real difference. And again, this is added to the same point. And, for people who might think about competing, there's no difference between a competitor's diet and your average mom and dad's diet. The only difference, and if you're not aware of this even, and I'm sure you are, but maybe you're not, but like, because the only difference is the length of the diet and at how big is your deficit at that point. So like, people are like, oh, I don't want to be a competitor. I want to lose like 10 pounds, but I don't want to be a competitor. I don't want to step on stage. So it's the same thing. You're doing the same, you're strength training, the competitor strength trains, mom and dad strength trains. The competitor needs to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. Mom and dad, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. Competitor will diet down for 20, 30 weeks, maybe to get to like really insane levels of leanness. Mom and dad, okay, you might do it for 16 to 20 before you hit maintenance for a month and then maybe decide to cut back down again. Like, there's really no difference other than time and you know, the length of deficit and the size of the deficit, right? And I think when people, like, when you kind of put it in that perspective, people are like, oh shit, like, you're right. And then I'm like, because like there are dads and there are probably mom and dads out there right now that get like in really great shape, and then like, I might want to compete. Well, you're already there. You're already almost there. You might as well just diet down a little bit more. Like, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to discourage people from that, from competing, but I also want them to understand, well, one, there's really no difference between the competitor's diet and your normal diet, but also understand, like, the leaner you get, the longer you diet, that's when those things of like, I'm really hungry, I had the brain fog, I'm hangry, I'm snapping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
what's managing expectations? I think that's the main thing. If people don't know about what it takes to be a competitor and they just see competitors being lean and whatever else, they might have assumptions.
yes.
I know for parents, like for myself, especially the last like month or two, like brain fog cannot be a normal thing for me because I have 2 kids. I can't be snapping. So like, depending on the parent situation,
Yeah.
maybe low carb is not an ideal, or being like, I think the main thing with parents and competitors is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but competitors either make more time or they have more time for the training, for the cardio, for the meal prep. Whereas the parents, time is one of the biggest issues. Whereas I get people like, I have 45 minutes 3 times a week. And honestly, like, I would never tell someone that's all they need to compete, because that, I think that's a false hope as well. Like, you need more than 3 times a week at 45 minutes if you're going to go that far with it.
Yeah. I would agree, but I would add also, or I would also say that, you want to know what? For that type of person, like, all right, let's say you're my client. Let's say you yourself, you have 2 kids, right? And you cannot afford brain fog, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say, hey, John, no, like, you need to make more time. I would never tell you that, because who the hell am I to tell you that? Unless you disclose, like, I spend, I don't want to use Netflix because, like, sometimes that's a really good escape. I'm not gonna lie. But let's say there is like an hour in your day, just an hour or 45 minutes in your day where, you find yourself on the Reddit rabbit hole, scrolling on Instagram, Facebook,
time wasting. Yeah, just literally
time wasting stuff. Yeah. It's like, I explained to a client actually yesterday in a client check-in. I said to her, because like she just had a newborn, and she's finding it tough, but she's also the person that, like, she was like that athlete back in the day, and she loves to work out, so she makes it a habit to do exercise like 6 days a week.
Holy hell, yeah, that's
right.
Good for her.
Like, I'm doing her nutrition only, so like I just say, like, hey, like, I would prefer that, or I think you should do this instead. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I think it would better serve you, but that's neither here nor there. But I just do her nutrition. But regardless, I'm like, but she's having time, maybe prepping or even considering the meals that she wants to have. I'm like, look, instead of you working out 6 days a week, work out 4. And it's not that you don't have the time. It's not that the time doesn't exist. It's there. We just need to reallocate where you put that time. So, so for her, I was like, maybe you have that 45 minutes, 50 minutes, because I think that's actually what she does anyway, 45, 50 minutes of exercise, like 6 days a week. I'm like, instead of you working out 45, 50 minutes, 6 days a week, you do it 4 days a week. And then the other 2 days, you spend that 40 minutes kind of prepping and planning your meals, because your nutrition is more important for your goal than the actual working out is at this current point.
Agreed.
So I would just say to you, like, all right, like, if you have 45 minutes 3 days a week, but your nutrition sucks, like, dude, you're gonna have to go to twice a week and focus on nutrition for that other 45 for the third, because otherwise you're gonna be running this hamster wheel. And I'm not all about, like, I don't want to take your time away, nor do I obviously I don't live your life to say, hey, you need to add it or you can add it, but you can allocate and reallocate where you put that time. Right. And then people are like, oh shit, I do have that and I can do that. You're right. I can.
Well, that's how a good coach works, though. You work with the client to talk to them to see if you can get more information out of them, because maybe they do have more time. Maybe they disclose, hey, look, I've been getting up 30 minutes later than normal. Okay, well, there's 30 minutes you can take back for yourself, that sort of thing. So that's where good coaching comes in. And I agree. I think that makes sense. And as I've grown as a person, as a coach, it's less telling people what to do and more helping people find. It's like they're answering their own questions.
Yeah, be autonomous. Listen, I'm a young dude. Like, I'm 33. If I'm, I can't, I mean, yeah, my clients are older than me and they're paying me and I'm going to obviously coach them, but like, you're older, you have more life experience. You are way smarter than me in a lot of shit. I just want to teach you to be autonomous when it comes to your eating and your training.
That's it.
So that you can leave and take on the world the way that you do. Be smart, be freaking as fit as you possibly can be. And I move on and continue to work with somebody else that needs just that kind of help. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm not, I don't want to feel like I have to spoon feed it anybody. And if I do, well, they're gonna have to pay for that. Because then I'm really gonna have to work with you. You know what I mean?
And I think a lot of people think when they hire a coach, some people have the expectation that like you're telling them every single thing what to do. And it's like, no, like there are things that will guide you through. There are things that maybe you don't know and I can inform you of, but this is more of like teaching you how to fish type of deal. It's not like this is how you live your life for the next 3 to 6 months. It's we teach, we educate. So like, because information is everywhere. It's our job to help people implement into their own lives this information.
I have I know that you saw the Health Concierge thing that I'm working on. It's gonna be a plug, just so you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so like this Health Concierge thing is different than my current personal training or one-on-one online coaching. Because what you just said is what sparked this idea. Of course, we want to teach people how to fish instead of just giving them a fish. However, I thought about it, and I'm probably not the first one to think about it, but I'm like, you know what? This could work. If we not only teach somebody to fish, but feed them while we teach them, not only do they eat that day, they eat forever, right? So like the whole premise of that whole statement or slogan or phrase is like, we're going to teach you how to eat forever. And then the opposite end is like, I'm just going to feed you. I'm just going to, feed you every single day so you keep on coming back. No, it's like, well, no, like what I'll do is I'll feed you while you learn the technique. And so that's kind of what that Health Concierge is. It's like, okay, I'm going to work with you one-on-one. I will tell you, I won't, like, obviously it's out of my scope, so I won't prescribe a dietary thing, but I'll say like, what do you love to eat? What can you eat? All right, well, here are the amounts that you should have that in, because that's how many carbs and protein and fat you're going to have, right? So there you go. There's me telling them how to create their meal plan, or I create it for them, or work with them, I should say. Obviously I'm doing their training. I tell them how to train. I have an exercise library, so it's all there. You want to shoot me a WhatsApp or a Zoom call? You want to do any of that? I'm at their beck and call. But in the process, I'm going to teach, because at the end, let's say we work together for 6 months. Like, you should know so damn much that like I don't want to say you can become a coach, but like, you should know, you should have that information so down pat that like you can literally go to a restaurant right now and be like, today all I really had was like a couple of slices of bread. I think I had a cup of rice. I had no protein. And then they just know when they are autonomous and they just go right to, I'm going to have a steak. I'm going to have a steak and I'm going to have some steak and veggies because I already had, a ton of carbs earlier in the day. You know what I mean? Like, just like that type of thought process that most people don't have at the moment. Right. And then like you and I do, like, but not the people that we're coaching, and that's what we're coaching them to do.
We learned through our mistakes. Like, I know I learned through my mistakes. I don't know about you. And that's why I became a coach, because I want to help people avoid them. And you keep using the term autonomous, and it's true. It's incredible. And I love that. I have one question, and you don't have to disclose if you can or don't want to. The difference between the Health Concierge and your current coaching process.
So the difference, that I would actually say to that is the level of
hands-on.
Hands-on.
Okay.
Like, I have, and so like my one-on-one coaching, like I created all my resources, but it's like, all right, like the clients know when they go into my client portal, they can go to the resources tab. They see like the starter guides. They see the videos that I've created for them, how to track this, how to track that. Like like I'm very, very, very like creative in terms of like the content at which how I create it. I want it to be super valuable. And like things that I haven't even posted, obviously, like on Instagram or YouTube, but these are specifically for clients. But I'll, like for instance, I do biweekly check-ins. Like I was doing weekly check-ins, but now I do biweekly. But like with these other people, with the concierge kind of thing, it is going to be a weekly check-in. I don't do Zoom calls. I don't do Zoom calls for my regular clients. Like if a person really wants to like dig in and like have that kind of consultation one-on-one like this, that's part of that, right?
Nice.
It really, there's a different, like the level of hands-on or the level of my intercession, I guess you can say, is a lot higher in that space versus like my nutrition only coaching, my one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends. Like I said, I can honestly say there's like a little something for everyone depending on where you are. If you're a complete newbie, I might not want to work with you. Only because I had done that, but the level of explanation that I have to create is just a little too much. Like I would probably, and I would probably do like a beginners group.
Okay. Keep it.
And I've thought, and I've done that once before, and actually a couple of them became like long-term one-on-one clients. But sometimes group coaching for me is just like,
you don't get as in depth with the person. You don't get that like relationship building as
correct.
Yeah.
So like it's very easy for people to kind of like hide, which I don't really like, because I want to be involved. I want you to know that I care about you. I want you to know that my name is on this. So because my name is on it, I want to make sure you are getting everything you need. Don't go disappearing.
I love that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it's funny you bring that up, because I've had clients message me. They're impressed or happy because they follow me on Instagram, and then they finally signed on and they love it. And they're like, this is what I wanted, because it's me talking to them. It's me on the call. It's me on the emails. It's not an assistant. Yeah. And I know it's popular and trendy for like fitness coaches to become business coaches, or fitness coaches to hire assistants and have people do the work. I don't want that. Like it's strong John fitness. Like I want to be as busy as it is, as stressful as it can be. I want to be the face and the person doing the work with everyone, because I love the one-on-one. I love to teach as much as I can, and you're the exact same. I think that's why we mesh well, because we're in this to help people. It's not like I'm in this to scale so I never have to work again. That's not really it right now.
Yeah, like for me,
we're coaches.
Yeah, like I've considered. I mean, you and I both come. We both did the OTA and stuff like that. So like, obviously. And not that either of us are probably making anything off this, but like OTA works really well and it's very succinct. But I would say that like maybe it's a bit of imposter syndrome with myself, but I'm like, I could teach a small handful of coaches like how to bring their business, bring their coaching online. I did it. I mean, if you want to learn to scale it way bigger and really do some things that like, that's what we went to OTA for. Sign up for OTA.
Yeah.
But if you have a roster full of people that you want to take online, yeah. And I consider that, like people have asked, like, would you consider that? I'm like, like maybe, like I kind of like staying in my lane of like just coaching, training. Like, if it is like, that's my lane. Like I'm not type, like I stay in my lane. Like I don't like to veer where my nose doesn't need to be going. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, like with the one-on-one coaching and the nutrition coaching, and like I have, like I said, and then if I want to do a group, like, a beginner's group, which maybe I will. Now that I just said that, maybe I will. What today is what's today? Today's I don't even know what today is, but
January 28th.
Yeah, the 28th. Maybe March 1st. I run a beginner's fat loss group or something like that. Awesome. I don't know, but like it's.
Your plate is full. Like as a coach, your plate is you're good. That's
yeah. It's I don't want to say it's full, but it's good. It's in a place where like it's because I've been full. I know what it's like to carry 50 clients. I know what it's like to, and it sucks for me. Even with the systems I had in place.
It's a lot.
Mentally, emotionally, I mean, these are still 50 human beings.
Yeah.
All with their own shit. Like, and I of course want to be their cheerleader. I of course want to be the person that like says, hey, like, you're going to get through this. Like, it's okay. But then it's like, you do 30 check-ins in 2 days and you're like, holy fuck, I am so drained.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so I keep my numbers. I don't do the quantity game right now like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I keep it very relatively low, enough for me to live my life, enough for me to be happy and love what I do still.
That's great.
I don't need to be greedy about it like I used to.
I think that's not to plug, but I think that's what OTA teaches you. It's not about quantity. It's not about getting as many clients as you can. And I've played that game when I started. Like I got as high as I think 60, and it was not good it was not the best for them or me. So I learned quickly. And there's only been a few, like we talked about, like staying in your lane. I've had people reach out and ask for advice, and I'll give advice on online coaching anytime. Like that's not, but I don't think I'd ever mentor yet. And maybe it's imposter, but
I think it is. I think
there's only a couple people that, like Eric Bach does both really, really well. Business coach, guy crushes it. And there's only a handful of people I think that should do it. I'm not one of them, and I'm okay to say that. That's not for me. Yeah, so I think that's good. I want to switch gears a little bit because I feel like this is a topic I wanted to cover with you a little bit, just because you are the creative. Your Instagram is sick.
Thank you.
I love to know, I mean, maybe it's because you're from New York. Where does your fashion inspiration come from? This dude, if anyone's watching this on YouTube, this guy is like the most fashionable fitness coach I've ever seen in my entire life.
I tip my hat to you, sir.
The drip is real.
Yo, like, all right. Yeah. For me, fashion, I love fashion a lot. And the reason why I love it so much is the fact that it is literally one of those things where your ability to display who you are without saying anything is a big thing. Like, I know that, like, pre-COVID, or even post-COVID, whatever, even now, like, if I want to go to a really nice restaurant, I might not be a millionaire, and I don't have to have millionaire clothing, but I know that I can command some semblance of respect, and I can command, some attention in the room because I know how to dress, and that boosts my confidence. And when I walk into a room, I don't walk with my head down and my shoulders slouched. No, I walk there. Clothing makes you confident. Like it not makes you confident, but it sure as hell helps you exude that confidence. It helps you, like, again, you can walk into a room and I hate to say it like this, and I am honest about it. I think any of us would be naive to believe and think that we don't live in a very vanity-driven society. Not to say that it's right nor wrong. I'm just saying it is. And because it is, I want to make sure that my place is recognized, that it's respected. Obviously you have to earn respect. I get it. I'm not saying, I walk in and you must respect me and you should all bow down. It would be nice, but no, it's not going to happen. But like, yeah, I'm not one of these, like, I'm not afraid to strike up a conversation. Somebody's not going to be afraid to strike up a conversation with me or, try to avoid me because of the fact that, like, I look like I'm just miserable and downtrodden because, if I was to walk in there, again, with my head down, chin down, slouched, clothing for me, when you throw on something, you feel good. Like, you can look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look fucking amazing. You know what I mean?
Powerful.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And so clothing in and of itself is like, yeah, I just, like, I love to put colors together, even if it's, or like, even when I put blacks and whites together, it's just like, how do I, or just like neutral tones. Like, I can put on a black, leather with a white tee, blue jeans, and my Chelsea boots. And somehow, some way, because I have the perfect fit, and I make and I choose and I craft how the clothes come together, it could look like a fucking insane outfit. And any and everybody can do it, but it's just how I do it.
You carry it. Well, that's the thing too. Like that's part of what's I think what's tough for COVID is we're all home, so everyone's like, well, I have no reason to get dressed. That's honestly like the biggest. It's mistake number one.
Oh,
if you're gonna lay around in your PJs, you're gonna feel lazy. You're gonna feel lethargic. You're gonna feel like not doing anything at all. And speaking from experience, I've done that. I've had days where it's 1 o'clock and I'm still in my pajamas. Like, what am I doing with my day? Like, get dressed, put on a good fitting t-shirt or your favorite jeans. Notice your attitude changes right away. Like as much as people want to downplay the effects of clothing and, like you said, vanity, we feel a different way about ourselves and about others based on the way they dress. And it's refreshing. I know this is a fitness podcast, but it's refreshing as a trainer to see someone else not just dressing in like dry fit all the time. No disrespect to people.
Dude, fitness is way more than just like, that's the thing I love. That's why I always talk about. I'm like, yo, fitness is way more than just like wearing freaking dry fit, dry tech clothing and squatting and doing box jumps all fucking day. Like if that's what fitness was, I would not be doing it. I would not be in this industry and I would totally hate it. And I probably would be, I'll say I'd probably be overweight and doing something else and being completely lazy with my life if that's what fitness was about. If fitness was just raw hustle, grind, like fuck all that. Like that's how I honestly feel about it. If I did that, I would be so like that's why I love what I do. And that's why I love fitness and like at least in the space that I carry it. Because I'm like, yo, like there's way more to fitness than any of that stuff. Like again, fitness is about like your confidence. Like you've got kids, dude. Like you more than anybody know. Your wife. People's like your spouses know more. If you are more fit, you can keep up with your kids. You can lift your kids up and not freaking feel like you're going to injure yourself.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like
ran around the house yesterday getting
a
4-year-old.
Dude, like that's what fitness is. It just so happens that if you eat well at the same time, you can look really fucking good. You know what I mean? Like that's just I just look at it like with fitness. People are like, oh, I just want to look better naked. I'm like, great. Like you should. But you also walk around in clothes. Like you don't walk around naked. Like take care of yourself. Like if you are so that person that's like, oh, I worry about what goes inside my body, but you don't worry about what goes on your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
then you're missing the point. You're missing the point.
And I think too, like people think with fashion, like you have to buy expensive clothes to make it look good. If you're fit, literally everything fits you the exact way you need it to.
I'll say that. One of the things I really wanted to do, which I haven't done, mainly because I have to get a new vlogging lens, just because the one I have now isn't wide enough. But one thing I really wanted to do was do like a Walmart vlog where like I go and I buy an entire suit and then you spend that money on a suit at Walmart. You find you find one that fits relatively decent, but then take it to the tailor, spend another $50 to get it tailored. Now you've got a custom suit that looks like $1 million freaking bucks, and you probably spent no more than $100, $150 on it. Like that was a vlog I want to do. But now with COVID,
you might be waiting a while for that.
Yeah, I'll be waiting a while for that one. But like I said, like go to Zara, H&M. I mean, I like to invest in quality. Mm-hmm. I mean, not everything that I have is freaking Gucci or Yves Saint Laurent or any of that stuff. Like, I have like pieces, but some of my best denim came from Zara. Some of some of those All Saints. Like, All Saints has like my denim I bought on sale for like $80. That's legit. I bought a pair of, I won't name the brand just because maybe they'll sponsor me one day. But I did buy a pair of like relatively expensive jeans. I think I spent like $330 on them.
Wow.
And I mean, I did wear them a lot. And they have a whole, like they've got a kind of like a worn hole in the crotch area. And I'm like, damn, like I wore some of my other denim just as much as that one. And like, they didn't do that. You know what I mean? So it depends. Like, but quality, definitely get, good quality.
Yeah. Well, I got a few, like, I think I've really downsized my closet over the last year or so just to kind of adult up my closet a little bit. I was getting too heavy in streetwear. Kind of want a simple. Honestly, I wear 2 brands mostly: Kino clothing and Collar clothing. Fit amazing. I have no problems.
I saw Kino. Like I got a targeted ad by Kino's clothing. I'm like, I can see the appeal for his clothing, especially like the athletic, Japanese inspired clothing, which is like the oversized stuff, the long line tees and the long line sweaters. I saw him like, I actually almost like, I don't say I'm his target demographic, but it piqued my interest. And I was like, oh, like maybe I'll try it out. Like maybe I'll try a shirt just to see how it fits.
The shirts, honestly, like the shirts, they don't make I don't think he's making long line anymore. The shoulder cap makes the shirt, dude. It's like, it just makes you look jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 100% recommend, no commission because I'm not getting any money from Grego Gallagher, but like those are legit. Okay. Quickly before we go, we talked about it briefly before, but I want to know your thoughts on Clubhouse. Cause I know you're talking a little bit about Clubhouse.
Follow me on Clubhouse. I'm here, baby. I'm here. I love all right. I don't want to, man. All right. Let me
hit a trigger somewhere.
No, it's not necessarily a trigger. It's honest, or it's my truth.
Yeah, give it to us. Yeah.
No, always. I think Clubhouse is great. It has ups and downs like every other thing on this planet. It's definitely not the best thing on the planet, but if you get into the right rooms, I mean, there's a lot of rooms and people, like a lot of people are hosting things, and like you gotta it's kind of, sometimes it could be like a bad Google search. Like you're gonna like you'll see what you're interested in, and then you're gonna you find a room. Let's say it's like Fat Loss 101, but it comes from somebody that's not qualified whatsoever. But you know what I mean? Like you have some people that just give out information and whatnot that. You're like, where the hell is this coming from? Like
TikTok.
It's random. It can be random, but then there are some for instance, I was like, somebody was running a room today on what's going on with the whole Wall Street and whatever and the stocks.
Yeah.
But like in the room was Virgil Abloh, like in the audience. Legit. And I'm like, he wasn't on stage. He was just a guy listening. Like you get some pretty cool people in your rooms, depending on your room.
Of course.
Like in one of my rooms, in not my room, but I was ended up being a moderator for another room. Yeah, some dude in there he's a hockey player for the Carolina Hurricanes. And like he was asking about intermittent fasting, and I was able to answer his question.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is like really cool. Yeah, legit. So like you can meet some really cool people on this app. Like it's a really great networking app. Mm-hmm. I think that's where you're going to find the power of it, is the networking. I like it. It can become one of those time sucks. Mm-hmm. Like if you have work to do, the last thing you want to do is spend 2 or 3 hours in a Clubhouse room, but you can get yourself there because there is a lot of things to see and listen to in there. Right. And then like, depending on the room that you get in, if you raise your hand, you can get up there and start asking all those questions and saying like, like somebody will put you on the hot seat and you can ask away, and you can be asking somebody that legitimately invest in $1 million companies, and you might have that pitch and they might buy it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty sick.
If you're like an avid, say you're into fitness, maybe you want to get in shape, whatever it is. What do you suggest for like, if you pick one social platform, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Clubhouse, where would you send people? Google searches don't count.
My Instagram.
Nice.
Instagram.com /Louis Guarino. How you doing?
I love that. Yeah, no, legit. Dude. Your content is sick, and your videos are back. Those are legit. So
yeah. I was actually gonna make one today, but actually the photo that my most recent one, the photo that I took of me like looking out from the window, that was meant to be a video, but I just couldn't get my words in order, so I just took a photo and
those days I would just mumble the shit out of everything. You're just like, screw this video.
Yeah. I was like, the hell, yeah, because I was getting annoyed, and I was like, then I got to edit it. I was like, nah, fuck it, never mind. That's awesome. I just turned it into a photo with exactly what I was going to say anyway.
Same caption. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll get to that time since you plugged it anyways. Where can everyone find you?
www.louis.guarino.com, Instagram.com at Louis Guarino, Twitter at LOUIE_GUARINO. I couldn't get that as my this to match, which was kind of annoying. Facebook, LinkedIn, you'll find me.
And
there's nowhere you can't find me.
Fair. And the Health Concierge, when are people going to expect that? Do you have
I'm still kind of working on all the finishing details of that. And then I have to obviously create a page for it and all other stuff. So I'm like,
well, people keep your eyes. I'm sure it'll be out soon enough.
It'll be, yeah. But otherwise, like I'm still taking one-on-one clients and nutrition-only clients. So for sure, if you're looking for but if you want the greatest, grandest, most amazing coach on the planet.
I love it. There he is.
Yeah,
yes, reach out. The man's in great shape. He's a great coach. Man, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this, man.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it.
Take care. Everyone, thanks for listening. Catch us on the next episode.